Owen Hussein here from FightHype.com. And you know what, Michael, I've been trying to get you for so long. The time has come.
Time has come off thanks to my good brother Hitch. He hooked up the interview and connected us up together. So big shout out to him.
You know what, I wanted to talk to you about your sort of transition. You're a well sort of decorated amateur.
Yeah.
You've come through, won many things. London 2012, Tokyo, Doha 2015 World Championships. Talk to me about your transition from that game that you look like you had in the back of your pocket to this pro game, which seems a little bit more difficult.
No, I wouldn't say as much more difficult. I think just different. It is different. It's not more difficult because the amateur game is very, very difficult. And I was the first Irishman ever to win world gold, and that's something I'm very proud of. And I was a world champion as an amateur. And I aim to be a multiple world champion as a professional, and that's something I do believe I'll do. I think the transition for me has took time. As I was, I had that amateur kind of boxing style ingrained in me since I was 7 years old, and I'm 27, 2 weeks, so or well, next is 2 weeks. And that's a long time. So the fact that I feel now that the transition is done, and I'm ready to start to push on and progress as a good professional.
What do you make of your pro career so far? You've had 9 fights, 6 KOs. What do you make of it so far?
I think it's went really well. At some points, I haven't performed as well as I know I could have. I don't think I have performed to maybe seven. I think I have a lot more to show. I think about 70% I've only performed to. I have a lot more to show, and I believe under the tutelage of Adam Booth, that is all going to come out, and I think it'll come out in the near future very soon. My next performance will be a dominant one.
Normally, when fighters take a loss or losing the Olympics with somebody as high as yourself, back then, it takes a while for them to get into the pro game or whatever else. But with you, we know the controversial loss against Vladimir Nikitin, and then the sort of reaction to it, and then the infamous interview with RTE that happened. In a way, was that a sort of a blessing in disguise?
I think so, 100%. And you obviously know your shit. You're saying about RTE and everything, so that's good. You know your stuff. So well done on that. But I think that was definitely a blessing in disguise. The best thing that's happened in my career, because I do believe in life everything does happen for a reason, and at times you create your own future. And I really wanted to be a superstar in boxing, and I believe that whether or not it felt like it was a setback at the time, this kind of set me up to be a superstar in boxing, and this gave me a profile which many world champions don't have. I'd say I'm a lot well known than a lot of them, and I can sell out places like none of them can. So I feel that it was a blessing in disguise, and I'm happy it's happened.
Talk about Vladimir Nikitin. He's 10 pro. Yeah. And it just seems like if that fight was to happen, it doesn't even need a build-up. The build-up's already happened to it. Is that the person you really want?
At the minute, it's the only person who I want. I'm not a guy who needs to call out anybody. I have a big profile, and the story with Nikitin is already built. There is a good storyline there that you can see the Ireland versus Russia, the revenge. Obviously, me being promoted by Top Rank, and they're American, so American versus Russia, they're gonna kind of go at the same time. But it is a fight I want. I have no ill feeling towards Vladimir. I do believe that when we do fight, I'll win, and I'll win very well. But at the same time, it's just something that I need to do. I feel I need to just get past it. I don't beat myself up about what happened, or I don't dwell on the past, but I think it would be good for me and my career just to get that victory.
It seems like the sort of Olympic setup is sort of taking a downfall. There's a lot of talk about it, maybe not even going to the Olympics boxing. What do you make of the amateur game and what's happened to it?
It would be very unfortunate if it doesn't be in the next Olympics. I was the reason I stayed amateur for so long was because of the Olympic Games, and to want to be an Olympic champion. I'd done everything else: Commonwealth, World, European, and the only gold medal I was missing was the Olympic. So um, for me, I think everybody needs the experience in Olympic Games as a fighter. I think the experience of being an Olympian is, phenomenal. When you medal or if you become Olympic champion, it's something that no one can ever take away from you, and something that I think a lot of kids growing up would really benefit from. And if that leaves our sport, if the Olympics leaves boxing, you'll see a lot more young kids turn pro, but I don't think you'll see as good of development in young amateur boxers.
The Olympic Games has brought, especially medals, has brought some great fighters. You look at Roy Jones Jr., you look at Floyd, you go through the ranks, and there's a lot of fighters out there. At this present time, pound for pound, arguably pound for pound number one is Lomachenko. We know how decorated his amateur record was. What do you make of Loma?
He's my favourite fighter at the minute. He's my pound for pound, just because how he's just went through the divisions and annihilated everybody. I know he lost already to Salido, but that was just he took a step he dreamed too big too soon maybe, and just wasn't experienced enough. It was nothing to do with the skill. It was to do with more experience and being old manned by a very tricky, tough Mexican. I still think that he is my pound for pound number one. I think his talent is supreme. He really is, like he's in the Matrix. It's very close between him and Crawford, but for me, just how Loma fights is why I love him so much.
I wanted to talk to you about Floyd Mayweather. There was a lot of talk this week about Floyd fighting a kickboxer. Seems like Floyd's come out, said it's not going to happen, but there is talks of Floyd returning back to boxing, maybe a Pacquiao rematch in 2019. What do you make of Floyd coming back, and if he was to fight Pacquiao?
I don't want to see it. I was a big fan of Floyd. Throughout his whole career, and even towards the end, even when people thought he was born, I still liked to watch him, and he was a master of his style of defense, and I don't call him the best ever if I'm honest, because I think he's the best of the generation, but not the best ever. I don't think because he's undefeated means he's the best ever, but at the same time he's the best businessman in the game. For him to come back, it just does not excite me at all.